Welcome to the Illuminati broadcast. I'm your messiah, David Moore. What's up, y'all? Morano. It means great rabbi, right? Yeah, so I guess I'm your rabbi. Alright, your ribeye steak. Alright, so we have our tabernacle here, our ephod plate, our elon. This is all the Bible, Kabbalah, Jesus, God, Jewish mysticism, Hindu mysticism, everything you could think of. This is the one world religion. This is the Tower of Babel. This is the Garden of Eden. This is the fruit of good and evil, the knowledge tree, right? All right, so obviously we have our trunk here. It branches out, creates all these fruits. They fall down, they become seeds, they sprout, they become the leaves on a tree. Then the fruits come out again. It's a cycle of life and death, right? We grow up, we get our own life together, we get comfortable, we enjoy what we make in this world, and we keep going and going and going. You get this masculine energy, feminine energy, then it creates that baby, and then you got a newborn again, right? So I was looking at Hecate, and there's this thing called Hecatli or something, Hecate, I think, but it's a Jewish mysticism. But basically, Hecate is like basically the goddess of the moon, right? She's the goddess of witches and magic and crossroads. So you have this crossroad, but you also have this door opening right here. She has a lot of keys and she opens doors. And Hecate in Hebrew is palaces. So you have all these palaces, these 7 palaces, and then these 12 palaces, these doors that you walk through to attain knowledge and wisdom, right? Like, let's say you want to learn how to become a king, you go through the Leo. Let's say you want to learn how to take care of your money and harvest, you go through Virgo. Let's say you want to learn how to make better judgment, you go through Libra. And so this could be like law school, this could be like a bakery school, this could be like a medical school right here. This one could be like a training school where they teach you how to use tools. This could be a butcher school. This could be a school where they teach you how to read, right? So you got these different ideas. It can be demonic, but it doesn't necessarily have to be viewed as something negative, right? Because you have schools. How else do you make music? You record it on your phone or your little microphone. Like, that's technology, that's demonic, right? But we're using it for a purpose, so it doesn't necessarily have to be evil. So every rabbi that's on YouTube, they're technically evil because they're using cell phones and manipulation tactics to get you to watch their videos, right? They're getting paid for it. Doesn't matter if they are or not. They're on YouTube. It's the system of the beast, and they shouldn't even be using that if they're real rabbis, right? If they're real teachers. But they do it anyways, and it's not a bad thing because it gives people an opportunity to learn about Hebrew and Judaism, mysticism, and Judaism, period. Anything that has to do with religion, it's a good thing to have technology. So, a lot of the times the Jews will be like, well, we don't eat pork, but we do this and that, and then we don't do this and we don't do that, and that makes us better than you. And it's like, no, you're the same. Like, you're the same as anybody else. You're no better. Like, you're not put on a pedestal or anything. You're just living a tradition and a way of life, and that's good for you. But just because other people do a certain thing doesn't make them worse or better than you. But I do love how the Jews are taking over Israel and destroying all the Iranian stuff. They're going to war, and they're just taking back the Temple Mount, and they're going to build the 3rd temple, and I think that's really impressive, and I want them to do that. And then we have the Iranians. They have this Mecca, this black box, and I hope that hopefully they reach out that way and find out what's under that black box too. That'd be nice. Show the world. The more stuff you do like that, the closer it brings you to God, because it's gonna open up like this revelations, like end of the world, crisis stuff, and then there's no more hidden knowledge. It's all gonna be playing out on the table, which it should be. It's like you're done playing the game, now just show your hand, right? And plus it'll get me to be at the top of the temple much more sooner, so the world can know that I'm their god, right? All right, so let's look at this real quick, the Hecate thing. So we have Venus, we have Mercury, and we have the moon. These are those 3 sisters, right? The Hecate sisters. You have the yellow one, the green one, and you're supposed to have a red one, so I guess this is that combination of it. But You have these three boys too, right? The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This Zeus is Jesus, obviously, you know. Mother, maiden, crone, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, blah, blah, blah. You have your Pluto, your Trident. Let's see. So today is the 21st, and it's a Saturday. So if we look here, we're in March, right? So March is the month of Pisces. That's water. Water energy is associated with Jupiter. So in Yu-Gi-Oh! With the Crystal Beast, you have Cobalt Eagle. He's the symbol for Jupiter. Jupiter usually takes the form of an eagle, right? It's like a democracy, republican, unification of governments, and it's a prince. So you get that water energy. Usually those are like your children, right? The next in line to carry the generation. March, Pisces, Saturn. So you not only do you have this water energy, you have this Saturn energy as well, which is going to be sort of lunar in a sense, but also Earth. So it's just like the most foundational. So even without the sun, you still have the Earth, right? You still have Saturn. Let's see. This is going to be your base. This is the equator. This is like where you see the horizon, right? This is the horizon. And then this is the sky, and it travels through. Let's see what we have here. So if this is the 21st, I believe, if we count from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. If we notice, we are past. So on Thursday, it was past this Saturnian day. This was Wednesday, I think. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But this makes a lot of sense. So if it's Saturday, we're in the month of March, and this is the energy of water. So today should be a pretty powerful day to work with Pisces energy. That's Jesus, obviously. So like, let's say you do some prayer or work with Jesus or Zeus. They're the same person, the same God, the same archetype. So you could work with that energy. What I've been doing is like imagining an eagle and having him fly around, creating tons of waves, and Hawaii got flooded. So those are kind of the things that you want to look out for. Like, that's how you know your energies are working. When you have those synchronicities or that abundance of energy, and it lets you know that you can kind of harvest that. So if we look here on the Ars Goetia, this one is 72, 71, 70, and 69. 70 is Seer. Seer is Pegasus, the horse, you know, the one that flies. And he can travel the whole map, the whole world, the whole universe in the blink of an eye and bring you whatever it is that you want. So you can imagine that eagle just flying all over the place doing whatever he wants. And then you have this Pisces energy. So that would be 69, and 69 is Decarabia, and he teaches you the value of like stones, I think. But also he brings you like the noise of water and birds. So this is really good for working with that eagle energy. That's why Pegasus has those wings, that bird energy, right? And he can fly around. But you can also work with the birds right now. So like, let's say you want to work with the air signs and get a lot of work done. This is a really good time for that. And since it's already like passed over here, this lets you know, since we're in the 21st, or the, you know, these days that are closer to the water, there's going to be a lot more water energy pouring through, because earlier this week was really hot, right? So now we get it to cool down a little bit more, and it's a little bit cooler outside. There's more clouds, and you have to put that energy into the universe. Like, I notice whenever it gets really hot, it's because people are praying for it to be hot, because they don't like the rain, because the rain scares them, and it wets them, and it waters them down, and they don't like that water energy. It seems to me like the human race is allergic to water or something. So they're always praying for that heat because they want that discomfort. But we want this water, we want this cooling refreshness. So I always try to do spells to increase the water. Usually if you wear silver and you do your rituals with that, it can increase it. So let's say when you're praying, some people pray with rosary beads, right? And that helps you like focus and get the prayer through. You can do that with different metals as well. So if I use silver with this water energy, I can increase that water abundance. So basically I can just imagine like Pegasus flying around, and that's what I like to do. I like to use my imagination in my rituals. So I'll do a dance and I'll have Pegasus flying around, giving me things, grabbing me things, finding things that I want, and we go through that realm together. So if it's like prayer in action, right? Spiritual warfare. So if you put that extra little bit of energy into something, you're going to get a lot back. And the more you know, the more you can utilize those skills and really hone those skills and focus. A lot of the times I used to use like ninja magic, which ninjas are wizards, if you didn't know that. In a lot of video games, they'll mention it. But ninjas, basically, they use the elements to their advantage, feng shui. And that's what I used to do. But now that I can use that energy and this mysticism with the wizard energy, like this whole tablet, and really hone it, it can really channel the energy, solidify it, and grant me what I'm looking for, right? It just helps. It's good to have a focus. If you play Dungeons and Dragons, they'll have a focus, something like a wand or a staff or a scroll that the character will use to allow it to tap into those magical energies and get more abundance out of it. Like, people use their Bible for that. They use their Torah. They use the menorah. You know, they just have different ways of doing things. But you can use all those things. Like, I use a bell. I do use a menorah. I use candles. I use this as the Torah. You get a lot of different effects that come out of it, right? And if we notice here, we have Capricorn and this Pisces energy. You can even summon, like, I like to summon Amber Mammoth for this power, so I can create earthquakes. So while I'm having the eagle fly around, causing a whole bunch of storms, I'm causing earthquakes as well to get people to move and do what I want. You want to look at these as your chakras as well. So your root chakra, your sacral chakra, which is your orange energy, and then your solar plexus, and then your heart chakra, your throat chakra, and then your third eye, which is purple, and then you get your whole aura field, which is going to be your crown, and that's Pegasus, right? So it gives you that idea, like, oh, okay, things can make sense, things can relate to each other. Symbology is a very powerful thing. A lot of people won't understand it, and the reason they won't understand it is because they're not at that level where they can handle that kind of information and be able to utilize it or even process it. So if you were to explain this to somebody that is not, like, spiritually equipped, they're not going to understand any of this, which is a good thing, because those people are usually people who don't want to grow, they don't want to change, they don't want to evolve, they don't want to be part of the system, they refuse it, so they try their best to do the opposite of whatever this is, right? And let's say you have a really good idea, right? You're like, oh, I want to do this. I have this amazing idea for all these kinds of things, whether it be fashion or music. And then they downplay you and belittle you, and they think that you don't have what it takes. And then they just kind of mess up the whole aura and the field of it all. And they're just like, they just have bad vibes. Like, those people are sick, spiritually sick. They might look physically healthy because that's what they do. They are parasites, so they have to conceal what they're hiding on the inside so they can latch onto you better. But once you have this equipped and you're spiritually equipped, they can't latch onto you. They can only latch onto each other. So a parasite's going to latch onto a parasite, and then they eat each other until one of them is basically dead, and then they try to find another healthy host. So when they do find a healthy person, like one of us, somebody that's spiritually enlightened, somebody that has a lot of experience in the spirit realm and is willing to admit defeat. In AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, the first step is to admit defeat, and that's important because you're never going to be strong enough to win every fight. You're never going to be smart enough to win every debate and conversation. You're not going to know everything. Something new is always going to pop up. Something new is always going to happen, and you have to be willing to admit defeat and be like, all right, I know I can change this about the way I think. I know I can work on these theories and these ideas. I know I can do this. I know I can make it happen. But I also know that I'm not perfect, and I don't have abundance of energy that I can, like, just explain it forever and ever until, like, the cows come home. I notice with the parasites, they'll want you to explain stuff like this. Like, okay, well, I don't think it's real. I don't think it's true. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't like the way you do things. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Go find somewhere else to tell. Go tell that to somebody else. Because I know what I'm working on, and I know what I work on is very exact. And it's a formula, and it's been passed down in generation and generation from father to son. And this is something that I treasure because I have that tool. I have this experience. I've had it my whole life. You don't have it your whole life, so you wouldn't know what it's like. I have more experience in the field. I've had someone, they're like, well, what about all these angels and all these? And I'm like, please stop. Like, these are the angels. These are the angels. These are like the archangels, and then these are the angels under them, right? The thrones and the palaces, etc. So it just takes a while, and you can get things wrong. I get things wrong all the time, where I'm just like, I just talk just so I can get it out, the information out there, and it correlates. I just don't feel like explaining it all so that you can get it. Like, no, you should already understand how this works. And if it doesn't work for you, that's fine, because you're probably not part of the lineage. You're probably not a noble. You're not a royal. I have noble and royal blood in me. I'm related to a king. You're not. I'm Irish. You're not Irish. I'm Jewish and Ashkenazi. That means German. Like, I'm the son of Japheth. Like, you're not. So you probably wouldn't understand this. You probably wouldn't be able to utilize this. This is your enemy, if anything, because I use this board to destroy humans. So this is like my little magical tablet or spell book, right? My grand grimoire. I think there's this movie called Hail Mary something something, and it's with Ryan Gosling, and he goes to space and he tries to save all these stars that are dying. That's an Illuminati, what is it called? A parable, right? So an Illuminati parable. It's when they're saying like, dang, like all our celebrities are dying. Chuck Norris just died. Some dude that was in the government just died. And they're being destroyed by this magic. And they're like, well, how do we fight back? What do we do? And then, so they make those kind of movies to find the answers. It's a ritual. So they're like, all right, Ryan Gosling, everybody likes you. You're doing really good. Nobody says anything bad about you. You keep winning awards. Let's use him as a scapegoat, or like that good shepherd, that person. They catapulted him into the movie. They make him do all this stuff, and he's enjoying his time, right? He's working these rituals, and he's very kid friendly in a sense, right? Because he's like handsome, but he can also be a little bit dirty, but then he can also just look clean, so he can get away with a lot of things. When you look good, you can get away with a lot of things. That's why I don't, because I'm super gay and I'm super feminine, but I'm also like just myself. And gay people don't like that, because if you're too gay, then you're just ruining their plan, because they like to hide under the covers and not let people know they're gay. Me, I'm proud of it. I love it. There's nothing else I could do about it, right? It's what I love. But to them, that's like the worst thing you could do to be gay, right? Is being proud. And even then, I don't just stick to one gender. I can go back and forth. Like, I'm like, whatever you guys want to call me, that's what I am. I'm either a boy or a girl. I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, what I care about is ruling the earth and destroying humanity. So why do I care about gender? So yeah, we have all these energies. So I have Pegasus flying around, getting me what I want. I have Cobalt Eagle going and destroying things with its water. I have Amber Mammoth making earthquakes. And that lets you know that's a good focus to start off, right? Because when you're playing Pokemon, you usually use one spirit at a time. And then you have like a team of 6, right? But here we got a team of 6, yeah? And then that 7th would usually be you, right? You're that 7th spirit. And we have it on the 21st. So if we look here, this is 1 o'clock. This is 12 o'clock. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So this is 3 o'clock in the evening. So right now I believe it's 2 o'clock, so it'll be right here. But once it turns 3, I can do a spell that really amplifies this energy. But let's find out what spirit is living here, and then we could do some forecasting or prophecy or divination with it as well. And especially since it's in the element of water, that's perfect for divination and opening doors. So it's a great way to open doors. Remember, Hecate is the goddess of the witches. She's Artemis. She has this energy where she can open doors, because this is the tabernacle. This is the entrance to the tabernacle. You come in through the east and you work your way around the brazen bull, and then you get here to the Holy of Holies, and you still have this water energy which is connected to the moon. So it lets you know this is the entrance, right? Yeah, so we have this entrance, we have this energy. It's gonna be 3. So already we have an abundance of water energy. It's Saturday, so then today's a perfect day for this March energy, so we can really increase some powerful magic here. And it could be a focus. You don't really have to worry about the other signs as much. But there were some dukes, I think, yesterday in these signs, and which was nice, because Duke is love, right? But right now we want to focus on this one, see what spirits are on this seal. On the corner sigils, you have to remember that these are going to be 4 spirits. Usually these are 2 spirits, so 2, 4, 6. But in this case, it's going to be 2 spirits because it's a corner. So you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go. So we're going to find out who that is. We're going to find out who he is. So, All right, so 36. I'm going to teach you how to count, right? 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, and 46. 48 and 50. So 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, and 46. So we're going to look at spirits 41 through 46. Because you're going to think of it as like day and night. So 41 is folklore. The 41st spirit is folklore. He is a mighty duke and strong. He appears in the form of a man with griffin's wing. His office is to slay men and drown them in the waters, and to throw over ships of war, for he has power over both winds and seas. But he will not hurt any man or thing if he be commanded to the contrary by the exorcist. He also has hopes to return to the seventh throne after 1,000 years. So with folklore, you're going to be using Venus energy, right? So that's that air energy. And in the crystal beast, that would be emerald tortoise. And emerald tortoise is cool because he's the teacher. In Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, there's a principal, like Chancellor Shepherd, and he's the tortoise. If you look at him, he's bald, he's older, he's more husky, he has all this knowledge and wisdom, and he's a very abundant and compassionate. So when you're doing magic with that Venus energy, you can know that it's going to protect you. So it's saying that he appears in the form of a man with griffin's wings, and that makes sense, right? Because right now we're in the energy of that March, that eagle, which is going to be that Jupiter energy, and then you have that Saturnian energy, which is also a bit of that eagle too, because Jupiter killed Saturn. Saturn was Jupiter's dad, so that lets you know there's this powerful avian energy. And so we're going to just think cobalt eagle, right? Because cobalt eagle is Jupiter, right? Zeus, so Jesus is that eagle. He's a hunter. He's strong, he's powerful. When you pray to God, God answers your prayers no matter what. He appears in the form of a man with griffin's wings. His office is to slay men and drown them in the waters, and overthrow ships of war, for he has power over wind and seas. He will not hurt any man or thing if he be commanded, contrary to the exorcist. So that means you can use that magic to the fullest. You can be like, all right, I'm going to destroy all this with my magic, and I usually do that in role-playing. So I just go in my room, I create an atmosphere, and I go in and I see what's happening in the spiritual realm. I tap in, and I move through it, and I attack. And I bend the forces of nature that way. Kind of like a kid when they role play. That's why kids are so powerful, because they still do that kind of stuff. But when you become an adult, they usually don't, because they're like, well, that's embarrassing, I shouldn't do that. And then they notice their lives kind of suck after a while, right? Because they're just like, well, I'm not doing the stuff that I used to do as a kid. There's a reason you do those things when you're a kid, because it's your passion, right? It's what you're good at. And if you don't know how to do those things, then you're just not one of us, because our tribe, the people that work with us, are kind of wizards. They know how to do that thing. It's basically an interpretive dancing and spiritual warfare combined, right? So his office is to slay men, so you can destroy people that are in your way. So if you have these thoughts of somebody that keeps bugging you, have that eagle go and rip them apart, right? Or imagine emerald tortoise, like somehow, like let's think he's throwing cyber dragons or he's shooting green lasers. Just let your imagination flow with the emerald. Let your imagination flow with Venus. Maybe you can imagine sparks of light hitting them. I like to imagine rainbows. So like, let's say I destroy somebody, they shatter into a million colors and they fill up my world, so that I become blessed and rewarded. And nobody can say that I'm hurting anyone with magic, because I'm not using it to hurt them, but I am letting it destroy them. So it will hurt them, but I'm not using it for that reason. I'm using it to let it shine. But if they get hurt in the process, that's their fault, because they're not aligned with what I want. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get what I want in the spiritual realm. And in the physical realm, I'm going to put in the work I need to be able to obtain what I desire. And the thing is, the parasites want to catch you off guard, right? They want you to hurt them. They want you to fight them. They want you to physically have confrontation with them, so they can get you in jail, so they can get you in trouble, so they could sue you, so they can make you look bad in front of people and isolate you. You don't want to let them win. So the best thing to do is to avoid them, go home, go do some rituals on them, and then when you see them, work on learning how to absorb that energy, where you can withstand it and be like, all right, go ahead, say whatever you want, because at the end of the day, whatever you have planned is not going to stop me from reaching my goals. Whatever you have planned does not affect me, because I have a purpose in this world, and it's not you. You're not my purpose. You just let God handle the rest. If God's going to destroy them, let God destroy them. Don't stand in his way. Just get out of the way and keep it moving. Don't even bother looking back at them, because that's what they want, to stay stuck in your head, right? Rent free, draining you of your energy like a vampire. Be like, nope, God got it. And they're afraid of the light. They're afraid of that power. But they will wear a mask that they feel no pain, that they can handle it all, but they can't. Eventually they'll break. Usually a parasite, it'll suck so much energy out of somebody, and then they'll go out into public and it'll take all these hits and it'll do all this stuff that it wants to do, and then it'll survive through the light. It'll be like a vampire, like it sucks so much blood that it can walk through the daytime, right? But eventually it's going to start corroding and eroding, and then it's going to have to go back into the darkness. So just let it go back into the darkness. But once it has a taste of your spiritual light that is like really powerful, it's going to start killing them on the inside. So just let God do the rest of the work. He's going to get rid of them on his own. You don't have to physically do anything to anybody that way, right? But if you're a soldier and you're out there fighting a war, you better shoot that gun. All right. His office is to slay men and drown them in the waters and overthrow ships of war, for he has power over wind and seas. So you can imagine Emerald Tortoise controlling the wind, controlling the sea, and you're working with him to water bend it, air bend it. You have all the elements in you. Drown them in the waters and overthrow ships of war. Water usually is seen as communication or emotions. You can make people cry. Overthrow ships of war. So let's say they're ready to attack you. You can throw their ships down. You could break their plans. Somebody today was like, can you be a sponsor if you don't have a sponsor? And I'm like, yeah, you can. I didn't say nothing though. I was like, whatever, this girl does not know what she's doing. And another person was like, yeah, you can be a sponsor without a sponsor. It's okay. It's all about how you work your program, and you are the one who's going to go and be like, hey, can you sponsor me? So what does it matter what the other person is doing? It's none of your business. Stay in your own lane. Take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. That means shut up and listen. That means don't be judging people. Don't be taking other people's inventory. Don't be trying to like start drama. Like, you're just toxic. I get it. You were probably abused by your parents, and you think that the only way to show love is through abuse. No, you're not going to be allowed to do that with me. I'm not going to let you do that. Not to me. I'm going to avoid the situation. I might have to see you all the time, but guess what? I'm going to have my security. I'm going to know that I don't need to stoop to your level. I don't have nothing to prove to you, because I'm doing what I need to do, and I love my life, and you're just mad because you don't love your life, and I do. And I'm not going to share it how I did it. All I'm going to do is share what I love. And it's going to radiate so much love that it's going to destroy your hate. And I don't care what it does to you after that. It's not going to save you, that's for sure. All right. He will not hurt any man or thing if commanded. So you don't have to be worried like OCD or PTSD. Like, oh my God, is my magic going to hurt somebody? Am I going to hurt the people I love? No, you're not. This magic is only going to hurt your enemies. It's only going to destroy your enemies. So do not be afraid. The parasite will be like, yeah, it's going to hurt the things you love. No, don't listen to them. Do not believe them. Do not trust them. Misery loves company. Remember that. All right, so I'm going to end the video here, and we're going to go over the next couple spirits that are on here so we can get a little bit better of an idea, but this is a good way to start, right?